Hey, what's up, North County? Welcome back to another episode of The Locker Room, and we are now here at Atascadero at the Dog Pound with Coach Dan Loney. Coach,
Hey.
how was, so last week, tell me a little bit about last week's game against North.
It was a good game up until the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a, well-fought, hard-played game. We just didn't squeak it out at the end. They made plays, and at the end they had a great catch with like 2 to 3 seconds left on the clock in the corner of the end zone, and we didn't quite pull it out. So, but excited about the way we started, excited about how the kids fought from start to finish. So, even though we didn't win, it was a good start to the season.
Too bad it wasn't like that game last night in that catch, huh?
Oh my gosh! I wish the little toenail on the
Right?
edge.
Incomplete. So, but North, I mean, you guys, another good fought game. I mean, it was evenly matched, don't you think?
Yeah, it was extremely evenly matched. We went back and forth. We ended up getting the first crack at it on offense, and I think 5-6 plays we mowed it right down. The first 2 series we averaged about 9 yards a carry on offense, and where I thought I was a little worried about with having a young offensive line and a young quarterback. It looked like, it felt like we were just taking off right where we left off last season. We were able to move the ball down the field, made a couple nice completions early on, and we were able to score on our first drive, and I think it gave our kids a lot of confidence going in throughout that game.
Did you have any surprises as far as like kids stepping up that you felt last week? Like it's like, all right, these guys finally got it. Now they know what to do.
For sure. I mean, starting a sophomore quarterback and Michael Trejo, you just never know. All of a sudden, I had him in wrestling last year. I knew he was different. I knew he was special. He's kind of a calm, cool kid. He never seems like he lets the bigness of things get to him. And he was just calm and collected during that night. Was able to, for the most part, make majority of the reads correct. He was able to hand off when he was supposed to, take a shot when he needed to. He did a really good job. Our running backs, and Joe Hyde and Austin Smith, and they led the way in rushing that night. They had some big runs, ripped off some good runs, and up front, our offensive line. We lost 3 3-year starters last year, and wasn't sure, how those guys were going to gel. We had 3 new starters, and those guys came together and did a really good job against a defense that they like to bring it. 6, 7 guys every time, and they, probably I think it was 97% of the time they were able to pick up the blitzes. And so it was just, it was really, for a first game, like I told the kids, I know we lost, but for a first game, we looked like it was game 3. So I was really proud of the way they played.
So you're pretty, you feel pretty good.
I do. I felt good. I felt excited about, not that we lost, but I felt excited that, from start to finish, that you see in their eyes there wasn't quit. There was no quit in these guys.
So you say your quarterback is a sophomore. So did he play behind Cooks last year?
No, he was the JV quarterback last year.
Wow, as a freshman.
Yeah.
And so he stepped up in the full reins of the whole offense, because you guys run the same offense on JV and varsity, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was able to grab the reins just like he did last year and take over the varsity squad.
Yeah, he grabbed the reins, and it was a fight between him and Josiah Iona, and both of them bring something to the table a little different. We still use Josiah as kind of, I hate to say, like your Wildcat quarterback, but we bring him in every once in a while. And
Don't give away any secrets in case somebody else is watching.
There's no secrets. But we try to put the best 11 guys on the field on offense, and that's just the way it kind of worked out. And so Josiah's one of our slot receivers, and he had a good night. So
very cool. So, Coach, you seem like you're pretty mellow. You're like, there's different coaching ways,
Yeah.
you've had Coach. I mean, Coach Larry Welsh was he got excited on the sidelines, and you seem like you are pretty cool and collective, that you don't get too fired up. What kind of coaching method do you think that you bring, to the team?
Yeah, I don't know. If you ask the kids, they might have a different perspective on that. But I think on the sideline, I always like to portray that calmness. Like, I think, the team takes on the personality of the head coach, and if I'm out of control, I think the kids get out of control. And so if we always say we want to kind of ride that wave. We don't want to be like a roller coaster and get too high and get too low. We just want to constantly climb that hill throughout the game. And as the game gets going and further in, that intensity grows. And so that's kind of my goal is when there needs to be some sort of excitement or intensity, we'll bring it and show it. But I just want to kind of keep that calmness and intensity where it's just growing throughout the game.
And we've talked about in the past of, you've been in Templeton, you've been in Paso, now you're at Atascadero, but Atascadero is your alumni, you played here. What does that feel like, being on that field as the head coach, being on in the trenches that you played in your high school years?
I was, walked out on that field, and it was kind of cool. It was neat. It was different because, you remember as a high school kid, what it felt like being out there and the fun that you had, and now being a coach. But even on the flip side of that, I have kids of guys I played with on the team. My kid's on the team. He's going to be a senior. JJ Pickard, his son Cameron, I played with Coach Pickard when he was a junior, and we played together on the varsity team, and now his kid's playing with my kid, and it's just like kind of that surreal moment of, man, all these guys are here with their kids, and it's hard to explain, but it's just kind of a neat, cool feeling.
And it gets you right there, huh?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Look back, turn around, and see all those people in the crowd, in the stands, jam-packed the sidelines. Yeah,
it was awesome looking up in the stands, and for a first game, the stands were packed. There were people on the sidelines. It was cool to see on the first game.
Very cool. So, Coach, talk to me about this weather restriction, heat restriction. So there's it's new this year, correct?
Yes.
And so talk to me about that, and what exactly is this?
So it was brought down by the state this year, kind of mandated us to, basically it's to help kids acclimate to the weather. And so there was 3 different tier systems set up based off of your, I guess, overall temperature during the summertime. And so basically it kind of tells you what you can and can't do during certain temperatures and humidity, whether you can go full pads or half pads, or only have a walkthrough, or sometimes you can't have practice until that temperature goes down.
And it's the way that I understand it, it's not necessarily the temperature outside. Like, I mean, we live in the North County. We are used to, 100-degree days, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it gets down into the 90s, we're putting sweatshirts on. So we're used to those high heats, but it's not necessarily what your temperature gauge on the wall is saying. It's a different mechanism.
It is. I use temperature, but it's not really temperature. It's a combination of temperature and humidity and wind and all that sort of stuff. And it's got a little machine, and we set it out there about an hour before practice, and we take it's called wet bulb thermometer, and so it takes a calculation of the temperature and the humidity, and it gives us numbers, and then we have to go off of the little guide that they give us.
I mean, and we all know it's for the safety of the kids, because we know as coaches, players, sometimes, getting that practice in at all costs, doesn't matter if it's, thunder, light, we got to practice, and so it kind of puts a coach in check, just says, here's the deal, this is the safety, for the kids on the field. Here's your guidelines. But is there any type of penalty? I mean, what were to happen if, say, a coach does say, "Hey, forget this thing, we're going out there and practice"? Who monitors that? Probably the AD?
The AD, the trainer. The trainer, for us, the trainer's the one that sets it up, lets us know, what it is. And I don't know.
They just give you the green light.
They give us the green light, and I say yes, no, and okay, let's go out. What can we do at that moment? CIF probably has some sort of penalties for those teams that, we had heard through the grapevine that there were some Valley teams that, practice through it.
Oh, really?
So
already,
I don't know. You just kind of hear random stuff from people, but like you were saying, they just said, we've practiced in this for years, so we're going to go ahead and practice. But we like to do things the right way here, and even though it puts a little hindrance on us, and it makes it hard for parents because sometimes we don't find out until 10 minutes before we think practice is supposed to start, and we have to adjust practice. But we want to do things the right way here and follow the rules as best we can.
So even like a walkthrough, even no helmets, shoulder pads. I mean, you're just sidelined.
Yeah. For example, yesterday we were going to do our helmet walkthrough day, our run through day pregame thing on a Thursday, and because we were at like 90, whatever the wet bulb gave us, it was a 90.1 or something like that, and it was 4 points above where we could even have a walkthrough. We couldn't even go outside without helmets or anything.
Wow.
So everything had to be indoors, which we have volleyball and cheer and all things were going on. So all our indoor facilities were taken until about 8 o'clock last night. So we couldn't even go indoors.
So does other sports have to abide by the same, every sport has one of these things right now?
Yeah, so every sport has to abide by the same rules that we do if it's outdoors. If it's indoors, like volleyball, and it's air conditioned, they can continue to have practice. So
they're not necessarily monitored on the indoors.
Yeah.
Got it.
So long as you're indoors in an air conditioned building, you can go ahead and practice. So if we would have had a chance to get it indoors yesterday, we could have had a walkthrough in our gym, but volleyball had their practice going until about 7:30, 8 o'clock last night between the 3 different levels. So we just kind of made do.
I guess Atascadero's got to build a gym now for football.
Yes, I wish.
Just for indoor gym.
If we get some of that Texas money and get some of those big outdoor openings, yeah.
Very cool. All right, so let's fast forward to tonight. You guys travel over to the Valley, which you are kind of in a disadvantage because you're traveling over to a team that has been practicing and has been acclimated to a higher tier level in the state of California, right?
Yeah. So we're on Tier 1, which is for coastal teams like Morro Bay and
right, and they'll
AG.
never hit that tier. Well, actually, it was 100 degrees over there.
It was, and they probably, I don't know what they ended up doing, but they probably had to do the same thing. But yeah, for us, they put us, basically they just took the whole county and said, hey, you guys are all in the same thing, not realizing that once you get over the grade, it's pretty much like a valley, like the valley temperature. But we're looking forward to going out to Roosevelt, and it's going to be hot, and the kids, we've been telling the kids that all week, hey, hydrate, get ready for it. It's going to be hot. I don't want to hear all week how hot it is here. So don't complain about it. Don't make that an excuse.
What are you looking towards with them? How is their team? What's their schematics? Are they pretty solid?
Yeah, they're a solid team. They got a lot of athletes on their team. They look well coached. Their running back is fast. They have some big physical linemen. It's going to be a challenge for us. But
when you watch film with the opposing team coming up, do you watch it as is the whole team still watched together, so you get to pinpoint certain players to key on and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we come in, we get the film, depending on when they give it to us, Saturday at some point, and we break it down individually as coaches. We come together on Sunday with ideas. We get a game plan going on Sunday, prep for practice that Sunday as well, and then and then Monday. We come in here in the morning, we get a lift in, and then we head up to a classroom and we watch some film as a team. And so, and we install our game plan that week with the team. So we let them know who we think their key players are and how to exploit some of their weaknesses.
Now, Dan, do you run the offense or are you the defense? Or you run everything?
I am the overseer of things.
Okay.
This year, I was lucky enough, Sam DeRose stayed on as the defense coordinator, so he's running that. I was able to sneak over Tyler Lane from you guys, and so he's running the offense this year, similar to what we have done in the past, but he put his spin on it, similar when you guys had Tyler over at Templeton. So looking forward to kind of getting that going. So.
And Coach DeRose, I was just thinking about this on the way over here, that, he was my coach when I played here. And that, I would like to think it was just, a couple of years ago, but it was a long time ago. So he has a lot of experience, here. Not as a head coach, but, in another capacity of sports and or football. So, looking at, because you got Altor running the quarterbacks, right?
Yes.
And you got Tyler Lane, which many years between Templeton. I think he went to Paso.
He stayed at Templeton, then took a couple years off.
Yeah. And then Coach DeRose obviously has been here forever. And then of course yourself, you have the experience from here to college to semi-pro to pro, and then back to coaching. So the depth of experience that Atascadero has, and relatively, it's not old. When I say experience, like. You have coaches that, they did play back when you had to practice and they didn't care if it was 197 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But you, with bringing that experience to Atascadero, it seems like, all your pistons are firing on all cylinders.
We got a great coaching staff. Not to put any other coaching staff down in the county, but, we have a lot of coaches that have, like you said, a lot of experience. Care for the kids, know the game of football, and willing to put in a lot of time and effort, and I can't thank them enough, and with the amount of time that they put into this program.
That's awesome. What when you look over at Roosevelt, what is one of the key players that you need to corral? Right
now, I never learn their names because I don't want to get attached to them, but number 51 is their right guard and their 3 technique D tackle. He's a mean, nasty guy that, as a former offensive lineman, you just love to see, and he wreaks havoc on defense. So if we can control him, we can have a decent time.
And who do you need to step up tonight?
You know what? We had an injury last week in our offensive line. And so we had to do a little shuffling around. And again, like I said, a former offensive lineman, the success of our offense is always going to fall on them. And so we need that offensive line to step up and take control.
And you guys are traveling over there, JV. Well, is JV still going with you too to play?
JV actually played last night. Roosevelt came here last night and they played. Unfortunately, they had a good game, fought hard, but they lost 16-14. But that program that level has changed. They struggled a lot last year. I think they've already in 2 games outscored total points compared to last year. So, they scored 38 points last week, scored 14 points this week. So they've really kind of jumped in and come along. Yeah, come along.
Awesome. Well, very cool, Coach. Well, we're excited. Friday night football, Friday night lights. It's going to be a little later. Are you guys going to be starting a little bit later over there?
Yeah, right now we're looking at 7:30.
Okay.
Possible push back to 8, but we're going to try to keep it at 7:30, and then hopefully get that rolling.
All right, Coach.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck, and looking forward to the next home game and those tri-tip sandwiches here in Atascadero.
You bet. It's homecoming next weekend, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good luck tonight, and hopefully you bring home the W.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Hey, make sure you guys tune in here. What's Up North County for all the football news here between Atascadero, and see what's happening with your favorite Greyhound. Go Hounds.